The jungle stretched wide and endless under the warm sun, its vibrant greens and earthy browns creating a colorful canvas. Towering trees swayed gently in the breeze, their thick trunks twisted like ancient giants that had seen centuries pass. Brightly colored birds flitted from branch to branch, their feathers shimmering in the sunlight. Rivers wound their way through the jungle, sparkling like diamonds beneath the sky. Life was always bustling in this vast and ever-changing land, and all the animals knew the sound that echoed throughout it, the mighty roar of Dino. Dino, a mighty Tyrannosaurus rex, was one of the largest and most powerful creatures in the entire jungle. He had scales that glinted under the sun, sharp teeth that could frighten any other creature, and eyes that twinkled with kindness. But what made Dino truly famous was not just his physical power. No, it was his roar. It wasn't just any roar, it was the loudest, most powerful sound that resonated throughout the jungle. It was the kind of roar that made the trees tremble and the birds pause mid-flight. It was the roar that let every animal in the jungle know that Dino was nearby. It was his signature, his claim to the title of King of the Jungle. His roar was his identity. Without it, what would he be? One morning, just like any other, Dino woke up to the bright light filtering through his cave. He yawned a huge yawn, stretching his long legs and shaking off the drowsiness. The jungle felt peaceful and still, as if it was waiting for his grand arrival. "I think today will be a good day for a roar," Dino said to himself, grinning as he looked toward the open jungle. He stretched his neck, opening his mouth wide, ready to make his usual sound, a mighty, earth-shaking roar that would surely be heard across the land. He took a deep breath, filling his chest with air, preparing to unleash his powerful roar. "Roar!" he bellowed. But this time, something strange happened. Nothing. Not a sound. Dino froze in place, blinking. He tried again, more forcefully. Still nothing. Just a faint squeak. Dino's heart skipped a beat. He tapped his throat with his large claws. What was going on? His roar had always been his most dependable feature. It had never failed him before. It had always been there when he needed it. But now, it was gone. Vanished. He looked around at the jungle that had always been his home. Without his roar, he felt smaller, quieter, uncertain. What was a mighty dinosaur without his roar? What was a king of the jungle who couldn't even make a sound? He tried again, and again, but each attempt resulted in nothing but silence, as if his roar had been stolen away during the night. Feeling distressed, Dino started pacing back and forth in front of his cave. "What happened to me?" he murmured, his deep voice cracking. "I need my roar. I am my roar." As the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting its warm rays over the jungle, Dino felt a lump form in his throat. "I've lost it," he whispered, a feeling of emptiness growing inside him. "I've really lost it." Chapter 2. Ruby the Rabbit to the Rescue. Just as Dino was beginning to feel completely hopeless, a familiar voice broke through the heavy silence. "Dino! Dino! Are you out here?" Dino turned to see his best friend, Ruby the Rabbit, hopping eagerly toward him. Her big, floppy ears bounced with every hop, and her soft brown fur gleamed in the sun. Ruby was quick-witted, cheerful, and the most optimistic creature Dino knew. Even though she was small and light on her feet, Ruby always carried herself with the bravery of the mightiest creatures. "What's the matter, Dino?" "You look a bit down," Ruby said, her sharp, twitching nose sniffing the air as she hopped up to him. Dino let out a long sigh and slumped his shoulders. "Ruby, something's wrong. My roar, it's gone. I can't make a sound. It's like it's just disappeared." Ruby blinked in confusion, her big brown eyes widening. "Your roar. But your roar is the biggest sound in the jungle. It's the one that makes the trees shake and the animals stop what they're doing. It's the roar that everyone knows, the one that says, 'Dino is here.' How can it just disappear?" "I don't know," Dino exclaimed. "I woke up this morning, and it was gone. I've tried everything. I've even had some leaves to strengthen my voice, but it doesn't work. What am I without my roar, Ruby?" Ruby thought for a moment, Then her face brightened. Well, I'm not going to let you sit here and mope. We're going to find your roar, Dino. Together, we'll figure it out. It can't be gone forever, right? Let's go ask around the jungle. We'll find someone who knows something. Dino's eyes widened. You really think we can find it? Of course, Ruby said, her smile wide and full of energy. Let's go on an adventure and search for your roar. It can't have just vanished. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Dino couldn't help but feel a little better hearing Ruby's words. She was right, this roar couldn't just disappear without a trace. If anyone could help him find it, it was Ruby. She was always the one who helped him when things seemed tough. You're right, Ruby, Dino said, his heart lifting. Let's go find my roar. And so, with Ruby hopping excitedly by his side, Dino began his quest to retrieve his lost roar. The first stop on their journey was the riverbank. The river, with its crystal-clear waters, stretched far and wide through the jungle. Dino knew that his good friend, Gator the crocodile, often liked to sunbathe along the river's edge. Gator was a slow-moving creature, but he had a sharp mind and a wise demeanor. If anyone could offer advice, it was Gator. As they approached the riverbank, Ruby called out, "Gator, are you here?" A large, green shape slowly emerged from the water. Green Alligator blinked lazily and stretched out on a sun-warmed rock. His wide, scaly body shimmered under the sunlight. Well, if it isn't Dino and Ruby, what brings you two to my neck of the jungle today? Green Alligator, I need your help, Dino said, his voice low and full of concern. I've lost my roar. It's gone. I've tried everything, but nothing works. Have you seen or heard anything unusual? Green Alligator blinked slowly. A missing roar, eh? That's strange. I haven't seen anything like that around here. But I do know someone who might have an idea. Who? Dino asked eagerly. The parrots, Green Alligator said, his deep voice rumbling. They know everything that goes on in the jungle. They're always squawking about something. If anyone knows where your roar might be, it's them. Ruby and Dino exchanged glances. Thanks, Green Alligator, Ruby said with a bright smile. We'll go talk to the parrots. As they made their way deeper into the jungle, they soon came upon the tall, towering trees where the parrots liked to gather. The branches were filled with colorful parrots of all sizes, their feathers painted in every shade of the rainbow. Hello, everyone, Ruby called up, waving her ears in greeting. Have you seen Dino's roar anywhere? The parrots all paused in mid-squawk and turned their heads. Parrot Pete, the leader of the group, flew down to them. Dino, your roar's missing? Pete asked, his feathers glinting with a sparkle of mischief. That's quite a problem. But I've heard rumors of a wise old turtle who knows all sorts of things about missing sounds. You should talk to Shelly the turtle. She lives by the big pond, not far from here. Thanks, Pete. We'll go see Shelly, Dino said, his spirits lifting a little. It felt good to be surrounded by friends who were willing to help him. And so, with renewed hope, Dino and Ruby made their way to the pond, where the wise Shelly the turtle was known to live. The journey to the pond was filled with beautiful sights and sounds, the soft rustling of leaves, the distant hum of insects, and the gentle trickle of the river nearby. It was a serene and peaceful journey, but Dino's mind was still full of worries about his missing roar. Finally, they reached the pond. The water glimmered under the sun, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of flowers. Shelly the turtle was sitting on a large rock near the water's edge, her slow, deliberate movements a perfect reflection of her wisdom. Ah, Dino and Ruby, Shelly said in her calm voice when she saw them. What brings you here today? I've lost my roar, Shelly, Dino said, feeling vulnerable. I don't know where it's gone, but it's not here anymore. Can you help me? Shelly blinked slowly, her wise old eyes filled with understanding. A missing roar, you say? She asked softly. That's a difficult problem, but perhaps what you need to understand, Dino, is that sometimes we look for something outside of ourselves when the answer is already inside. I don't understand, Dino said, puzzled. How can my roar be inside of me if I can't even make a sound? Shelly smiled gently. Your roar, Dino, is not just the sound you make with your mouth, it is the strength you carry inside. It is the courage, the kindness, and the love you give to others. Sometimes, we forget that the things we think define our loudest voices. Our biggest actions are not always what make us who we are. You've always been strong, kind, and full of heart. Your true roar is your essence, and it never leaves you. Dino stood in silence, processing Shelley's words. Slowly, a feeling of peace began to wash over him. Maybe his roar wasn't just a sound, it was the way he lived, the way he cared for others. Thank you, Shelley, Dino said softly. I think I understand now. My roar has always been a part of mates the way I live, not just the sound I make. With Shelley's wisdom in his heart, Dino and Ruby made their way back to the jungle. Dino felt a sense of calm that he hadn't felt before. His roar didn't need to be the loudest or the most powerful. It was already inside of him. It was his actions, his kindness, and his courage that made him who he was. When they reached a clearing in the jungle, Dino stood tall and took a deep breath. He wasn't sure if his voice would be as loud as before, but he knew one thing for sure. He didn't need to prove anything to anyone. Dino bellowed, his voice full of strength and heart. This time, it wasn't the loudest roar the jungle had ever heard, but it was the most sincere. The animals in the jungle gathered around, watching with admiration. They didn't need the loudest roar to recognize that Dino's heart was full. And so, Dino learned that a roar isn't just a sound, it's the power of being true to oneself, of being kind, of standing up for others. True strength doesn't come from the loudness of our voices, but from the kindness in our hearts and the actions we take to help others.